Hey guys, so I wanted to share a something that Spirit put in my heart last night, and it's based around Cat Williams, his interview, but mostly on his medallion. So when I had first looked at it, I was like, "Oh wow, it looks like a helm, right? That you use to steer a ship." So yesterday, my friend Kalo, which is from his Konami Codes of Culture 24 on Instagram. I would recommend you guys to follow him. He does a lot of decode. He's divinely guided. He's a super master decoder, and he has his own decode on this as well, which is fabulous. And I recommend you guys go check it out. So he sends this clip to me, right? So then I realized, I was like, but wait a minute, this has like all of the cardinal points, right? And I was like, wow, that's really interesting. Now, what I did notice was when I first saw this phrase folk woke, right, which is basically fake woke, but what I mostly realized is this right here is the why is this written the way it is? This is intentional, right? So you have Oki, which is pointing to the east, and then you have the same word Oki pointing towards the south. So I was like, wow, that's interesting. So, my brain has this has a keen a keen ability to spot patterns, right? And then of course, these cardinal directions also remind me of zodiac and astrology and sailors using the stars to be guided, things like that, right? So I was like, this is intentional. And it's like, it just kept bugging me. And Spirit just said, look, continued looking. I was like, okay, let me start diving in here, right? So I punched up the word Oki, right? So what I got was this word Okius or Oki was a wrathful god. So it was actually a god, right? Was a wrathful god in religion of the Powhatan and Monacan tribes of Virginia, so forth and so on, right? You could look that up. And here's more information on Oki, the god. Um, it says Oki was a wrathful god, which, by the way, the word wrathful is what really stuck with me because there's this amazing decode that Dreamwise did. Shout out to Dreamwise on the Katt Williams interview and how he connects it with chaos and his amazing quote, "Chaos in the blood, baby." So he did an amazing decode. Check it out. You'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So, all right. So getting back to this. So when I looked at Katt's medallion, I said, wait a minute, this is not just a regular medallion. You don't see this everywhere else. Do you understand what I'm saying? This is original to him. I said, this is a sigil, and not only a sigil, but it's for protection and to invoke some demons, some gods, whatever it is. I'm not, criticizing anything. I'm an astrologer. I love zodiac. I sling tarot cards and stuff, but this is why I made that connection and confirmation. I wanted to also add that once I thought of sigil, it reminded me of an episode on the Mooniverse, which I do Wednesdays nights, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where I show everyone on how to make your own sigil. You see, I give the instructions on how to, I got this recipe from another witch where she doesn't give her name, but she doesn't gatekeep either. So I decided to share it with everyone as well. And it's a sigil where you could ask for protection, create your own sigil for protection, or to ask for anything that you want, right? Using the Solomon seals is cool, But what's more powerful than a sigil that's made by your own words and by your own hands, right? You give that sigil even more power. So I just thought that was very interesting as well. Let me continue poking, right? I was like, okay. So then I typed in okie okie and look what I found. So I found that in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, where the Solomon Islands are, southeast of the islands is a city on an island that's called Okioki, right? So then I was like, wait a minute. And then on top of that, it's on Cristobal Island. We're talking about ships, Christopher Columbus sailing. And then today, Kalal shares with me as well a video of an interview with young elder with Rod Hayes, which you could shout out to young elder and shout out to Rod Hayes, right? Here we go.
However you want to pronounce it.
I haven't watched it all the way, but
they are
you can find it there, and it's very interesting because they were talking about the Black Conquistadores, right? So I said, so you're telling me that as I'm getting this download and I'm on searching San Cristobal, Okie God, on San Cristobal Island, they're simultaneously last night having this interview with Rod Hayes, right? And not only that, earlier during the week, right, this whole Katt Williams thing happened on the 3rd, right? Rod Hayes, this is his Instagram. He goes off on the 2nd, the day before, right? And he calls it a public service announcement, putting everyone on call. Listen.
Team born of the Queen Mother. Notice the agent, notice the principal. This is a continuity of government directive. Department of Defense on notice. Department of Homeland Security on notice. The continuity of government, continuation protocols being put in place. All tribes being notified. Directive and order from the widow to the widow's son.
Right, so you could continue watching it there. So that was pretty wild, right? So that interview stood out to me. I was like, wow, when an elder puts you out on notice, trust me, you gotta listen, right? Okay, so here we go. We have Okie Okie, the god of wrath or chaos, right? And then we have here, I can't miss this one. So as I find out that Okie Okie is on San Cristobal Island in the Solomon Islands, I find out there's a book and there's actually Solomon Island Mysteries, right? And it says here an account of giants and UFOs in the Solomon Islands. I was like, no freaking way. No way. Are you kidding me? Right? So what are you talking about? Anunnaki? So after I get this download from last night, I wake up this morning and the first thing I see on Instagram is this old clip.
The secret of secrets in the Pentagon is the Sumerian gods are returning, and that's what they're referring to as that whole area that Peter's.
Wow! Can you repeat that again, just in case anybody missed it? The buzzword
in the Pentagon, in the military circles that are in the know about the cover-up here, they kind of, in whispered tones, talk about the return of the Sumerian gods. And they're talking about the what we would call aliens or fallen angels returning into the Middle East, into Old Sumer area.
The Anunnaki.
Well, could be.
Under the other ancient names.
Do you think that has...
Please go back and listen to who Rod Hayes put on notice. This is just wild. It's wild. Now, Rod Hayes' public announcement was made on the 2nd of January. Do y'all remember what happened on the 1st of January? This scene right here that you see up on the screen, right? The Miami Mall incident. Now, that stuck out to me. Why? Because we have here on Katt's sigil WW, which is west, and they confirm each other. But if you put it upside down, it's MM, or if you invert it, it's 33. But not only that, on the opposite side, okay, you have E and E that confirm each other as well, right? And if you turn them upside down, they're MM as well. Or if you invert them, it's 33 as well. So listen, whatever is going on here, it's being confirmed in the physical and in the spiritual as well. So we go there, right? And then here we go. So Okioki is located on the Solomon Islands, right? Here we go. So Solomon, when I thought of Solomon, immediately I said, holy crap, the Solomon seals, right? That they're used for protection. Here goes one of them. And for summoning demons as well to do your bidding. So that was wild, right? Then I was like, okay, wait a minute. Katt is always talking about God and things like that, which is just, right? And I'm like, wait a minute. So we're talking about north, south, east, west. There's angels that the Bible talks about that are on each point or the four corners of the earth, right? So I was like, okay, that's really interesting. So then I go and I look them up. I was like, let me find out who's on the north, south, east, and west. Sorry for also my scribbles here. So you have Uriel, which is earth on the north, Michael, south, fire, Gabriel, west, water, and then Raphael, air, right? So we're talking about south and east or south, right? So fire and air. So you got fire, which is chaos, wrath, which is okie okie. And then we have air, which is communication, which that's what Katt does, right? He speaks, he was speaking, right? So he's asking for power, in order to bring power to his words as well. So that was just confirmation that this is exactly a sigil that he's created for himself, right? So when I saw the sigil, I saw the cardinal points. It also reminded me of a clock, right? So then you have here, east is pointing to the 3, the south is pointing to the 6, and in between you have 4 and 5. So if you add 4 plus 5 is 9, 6 plus 3 is 9 as well. So that's another double confirmation, right? So if you come here to the gematria calculator, Katt's name also comes out to the number 9, which I found that very interesting as well. Guys, and I know there's so much more to unpack here, but I just wanted to share what Spirit shared with me last night. I wanted to put my heart out there for you guys, and I'm extremely grateful to the Most High, to Spirit, and for you guys for just taking your time and listening. Thanks. Bye.